Hello, beautiful, vibrant souls. I'm so glad that this video has come across your timeline today. I'm always glad to see you. I am going to be pulling some cards for the collective. However, with this first video, I did want to ask for your help. And I will give a little bit of background as to why I'm asking for your help. So I am currently a student full-time. I have returned to college at the age of 45 after my son has reached his mature age and is independent. I did initially try to get this degree, and without the support of the people I needed and the family support and the financial support, I had to drop out. So I finally have the opportunity to return to school. I am trying to obtain first my bachelor degree in philosophy and then hopefully a PhD eventually. I would love to be able to teach this subject, but perhaps most importantly and relevant to this mission and what I'm doing on these platforms is to be able to write the books on these subjects and talk about these concepts with that little bit of legitimacy behind my name. I hope that with the background education and the credentials, that these concepts that we talk about will be taken more seriously. I have been interested in these subjects since I was very young. Obviously, I felt a connection to everything, and as so many of you have, and found a great interest in this, took an interest in this at a very young age, started studying religion and spirituality and philosophy, and found that there were these common threads among all of these different ideas across time and across space. And I thought that there was something so fundamentally important in those truths, these ancient ideas that have been watered down and diluted and distorted over time. I feel like it's so critical that I undertake this mission to take these concepts and make them available and accessible to all of us, to help us all elevate, to help us all heal, to help us all be empowered in our own lives to create the kind of a reality that we all deserve. On top of doing these collective free readings that I do on my platforms, I also take personal private readings that are confidential. They are recorded, and we can chat afterwards. I prefer to record them simply because I like to be able to concentrate on the messages themselves and give as much explanation without having any interruptions or distractions. So it's best for me to do it in that way. I do these on a donation basis. I also do remote Reiki sessions with a similar type of follow up. And on top of that, I'm also a social media manager. If you are looking for anyone, if you're looking for someone to do some editing, some help with your marketing, if you just need somebody to do the daily posting for you, that's the kind of stuff that I can do. I'm asking you for help because it's really difficult in platforms that are completely drowned out by all kinds of content to get an account going without supporters who believe in your mission. So every single person that hits that heart, hits that bookmark, does a repost for me, shares me to their stories, any of the messages that are relevant to you, anytime you share one of my business pages, that helps me so much, and I'm so grateful for that. If anything that I speak about or if any of my messages ever do resonate with you in such a way and you would be willing to contribute, there is a way for you to donate on my website, astralhealingwitch.com. I also have a Cash App and Venmo that I can put in the comments as well. So it's a struggle to be full-time in school and be self-employed. I'm acing all of my classes and I'm hoping to have some scholarship help with these upcoming semesters. But in the meantime, I still have those life expenses that need to be covered. So your help would be so much appreciated, and I am so tremendously grateful for those who do stop, listen, and engage with my content. Thank you so much for all of your support and your kind words. I hope that we can talk more. I hope that I can share these messages further. And eventually, I would love to use our interactions and the things that we learn in these content videos as a part of that dissertation that's going to get me those fancy letters behind my name so we can write those books and share it with the entire world. Thank you so much for listening. As promised, we're going to go ahead and pull some cards for the collective. Let's see what messages lie within the tarot today. We have, our Eight of Swords has come up again. We've got a Ten of Swords as well. And we've got that Ten of Pentacles, though. So there's some really, really structured processing here. We have to deal with each thing in order. So we're going to do them in order from the way that I pulled them. Why are we dealing with this? Because this is the thing that needs to be addressed first, staying on task. This means that there are individuals, situations that are lesser vibration stuff, not the kind of stuff that we need to be focused on. Sometimes people can be very easy distractions for us. Sometimes we can we see that they're doing all these things to get our attention, and it might be entertaining, and it's nice to take your mind off the things that you're trying to focus on and accomplish. And so you say, oh, well, what's going on over there? That's fun. This card is the reminder of how quickly we can be driven off course by taking our eyes off the road. Additionally, I'm getting that we have to be careful about what we speak about publicly, what we tell people about, because there's going to be some people that want to distract you. And it's not something that they're doing openly and, I don't like this person, I'm going to distract them. This is stuff that they're dealing with personally. They're struggling with where they feel they are or where they feel they are not in life. And so they have some opinions about what you're doing and how you're doing it. And so they may try to work against you. It's up to you whether or not that causes a problem. There's some things that you're just going to have to keep to your private circle. There's some things that you're going to keep under wraps. And there's some things that you're just going to have to ignore. And you're going to have to know that your resolve and your will and your determination and your work ethic is going to overcome all of these things. And so none of that matters at all. But we just want to be aware that distractions are abound. We've also got this Ten of Swords, which is that ruin card. This is the end of a cycle. This is not a bad thing. This means that something's finally come to an end and it's done, done, and done. You dug the hole, you buried it. You've decided that it's not worth your energy anymore. Maybe even something related to this, and you've decided that you're going to go ahead and focus on other things, which means that those distractions can easily affect us. But in this situation, this is that, hey, no, you did what you needed to do. You closed that cycle out intentionally. Now, the universe sent some signs and some situations and some signals along the way because you weren't quite getting it. But you finally got it. You figured it out. You cannot change a situation by influencing another person. They have to see it. They have to see it and they have to want to see it. I'm getting that they didn't want to see it. They weren't ready, they weren't willing. They have their own issues, they have their own situations going on. Something is blinding them, and you can't pry those blindfolds off of them. As much as we want to do that, as much as we know it would help that person if they took those blinders off, as much as we know that we are a positive influence in every situation that we walk in, maybe not, but we do our best here. You know that the universe saw all of that. And it also saw you spinning your wheels. Your energy was going nowhere, and it said, oh, stop this. So it sent the situation to where it went, and you finally got to that point where you, all right, well, I guess that's over with. The important part right now, the key to this, is that you didn't look at that like a bad thing. You didn't look at that like, terrible, I'm so upset, I'm distraught. We can't let this change our feelings about what it is that we're doing, because we're working really hard towards things that are very important to our success and manifesting what it is that we said we wanted, that we feel deeply that we want. And so he said, nothing, this isn't going to mess me up either. In fact, I know now that I just have to do things differently. Entirely differently. I have to be open to seeing what's out there, and maybe I need to take my blinders off. Maybe I was focused on one thing and I wanted that one thing, and that was the only thing that was going to do it for me, and the universe finally closed that chapter and said, now start writing a new book. And you're like, oh, well, what do I write about? Well, you're going to have to figure that part out, right? We have here also this 10 of discs, another completion of a cycle, only this is the one that shows you in the right mindset. This is the one that says, finally, you have figured out the things that are most important in your life. Finally, you have decided to get rid of these things that are meaningless to you. You're not entertaining relationships that don't do anything but cause you issues and drama and stress. Those things aren't important to you anymore. The things that are important to you are the things that make you feel abundant. Abundant in love, abundant in support, abundant in friendship. You had to find a way to be authentic and to be confident and comfortable in yourself. And it took you so long to get there. It took you such a long time that when you got to where somebody was trying to put you down, you just closed that door. No. Mm-mm. And now there may be some things, I'm getting for some people that this is a situation where we had to close one door thinking we weren't good enough for perhaps a job, thinking that there's just no possible way that we could be up to task for that. And now realizing that you have everything you needed for that the entire time. It's sitting right in front of you for the taking. You just have to be confident enough to go after it. Don't allow these closing of cycles to make you think that what you're meant for isn't going to pan out. This is actually helping you hone in, steer in the right direction, and stay focused by removing the distractions that are no longer meant for you. This is a very interesting message here. So as soon as I pulled these cards, I start getting all these impressions about someone who felt incapable and felt like they hadn't done enough or hadn't learned enough, or they weren't being respected, or they weren't feeling appreciated in the room that they were in. So they walked out of the room. And as soon as they walked out of the room, other people started to notice. Soon as that happened, and you have no idea how that happened, you were not expecting it at all of a sudden, everyone is looking at you saying, what's she going to do next? What's he going to do next? What are they going to do next? Because now I'm curious. I've never seen anybody take this path before. This is interesting. It takes a lot of courage to go this way. It takes a lot of courage, a lot of bravery to be your authentic self and to stand up for what you deserve, and to say, no, I know what I'm capable of, and I'm not going to let anybody else define me. They're the ones with the limited view, not me. So you got up and walked out. You had no idea what was happening next. You may even have been in a situation where the door was closed on you and you couldn't quite figure out why. That was the universe sending you that final closure message, as we talked about in the last card reading. Our Bobcat spirit says life is a mystery. It's supposed to be. If we know what lessons we're going to be learning in each cycle, sometimes we're going to run away from them because they're a little intimidating. sometimes we're going to walk into a situation and go, well, I know what this is about, and we're going to miss it completely. That's just human ego. That's just normal. So this life is a mystery is about the universe put you through this path because it needed you to be able to figure it out. It needed you to be able to see the things that you thought you could see that you couldn't see, or make you aware of the things that you couldn't see, that you thought were never possible, things that were illusions, things that were stories that someone had told you about yourself, situations where you'd never felt capable, those situations that led you to accepting less, that kept you in that room for too long. So all of these things started to take place. It became very frustrating and a little bit overwhelming, or whatever the case may be. I'm getting a lot of different emotions from this because there's this a collective reading, so I'm getting a lot of different situations. But I'm feeling like Spirit was trying to send you a message, and it had to wait until you were ready to receive it. So it sent you on a series of adventures and situations and meeting people and finding out what you were capable of and testing you and challenging you, because otherwise you weren't going to see it. You just weren't going to figure that out. But now it's very obvious to you. Now it makes sense. Now you can feel very strongly that you know what you're supposed to be doing. You know what you're capable of. You have the resolve. And in fact, there's even some situations where you didn't even know if you were going to have the kind of support that you thought you have. Only to realize that when you stepped out there independently on your own, there was a whole bunch of people that backed you. And they think far more highly of you than for a very long time you thought of yourself. You're just catching up now. You're just starting to really see what they were seeing. But that's why we had to go through those messages. That's why we had to go through those lessons. Because if we would have walked in there saying, oh yeah, I'm going to discover that I'm valuable, that I have to be able to walk away from situations that aren't meant for me, that you either not getting yourself into that situation so that you didn't feel it properly, or you would have walked in thinking you knew what the lesson was and you knew what the answer was, and you wouldn't have applied it in the way that you have now. It had to be done this way. It had to be. But the mystery is also what makes it so beautiful. That's what makes it such a fun adventure. You never really know what's next. What lessons do I need to learn? The more gratitude we have for what's tomorrow and what comes next for us, and what if I just keep going? What if I just keep pushing? What if I keep feeling even more confident? What if I stop silencing myself? What if I speak up more? What if I say the things that I've been wanting to say? What if I make the art that I've been wanting to make? That's when you're going to really see some really amazing things. There is some tremendous gratitude that I have for the surprises that life has thrown at me, because it has put me in situations I would have never allowed myself to get into, and it taught me things I never knew about myself, and I wouldn't have learned it otherwise. But now I'm here today and I'm on a journey that I feel really good about. It feels like me. It feels like what I was supposed to be doing my entire life. And I cannot express to you how wonderful that feels. To feel like you're literally living the life of your dreams. Is it perfect? No, it doesn't matter. Because I know that there's more mysteries in store, and I am going to be so grateful when I am surprised by the next thing and the next thing and the next thing too. Spirit always finds a way to surprise me, and they're always very good surprises. Thank you so much for joining me today. Thank you so much for your support. I am always so grateful that you join me on this healing journey, and I hope that we can continue.